Hey guys, welcome. I am Diogen Z, your host of Refined Rage, and I know you looked at the title and I'm betting you're probably angry with me already, but before you click this a 1-star, please hear me out because I'm not ranting about 9/11 with conspiracies or any bullcrap like that. Conspiracies are conspiracies. They're something to be considered and maybe looked at, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually pay homage to those who lost their lives, the brave heroes, the firefighters, the police that attempted and did save some people. And I just want to share a little bit of information. I read in an article today in my economics class. We handed this piece of paper. It was for the Wall Street Journal, and it was an article about everybody's last message, whether it was, whether they were in the tower or trying to escape and they knew they couldn't, or if they were on one of the hijacked airlines. There was the last messages to their loved ones, and it was very powerful, and you could believe that the room was pretty much silent after that for the rest of the time being. But one important thing to note, out of all of the messages, they were similar in one way, and that was the theme of love. Okay, you're in the middle of a hostage situation right now, and nobody had anything like, hey, you owe me $20, you can keep it now. No jokes like that. There was no, I'm so fucking pissed at these terrorists, I'm gonna go knock them out right now. There was none of that. These are people who have accepted their outcome. Unfortunately, it's not what they intended it to be, but they accepted it. And it's interesting to think that we as people, we dread this thing called death for basically our whole entire lives, and it really hits us when we get older, or when we get to our midlife, the midlife crisis, where we realize, wow, we only have half our life left to live. And you have these amazingly brave people, because even those who didn't survive were incredibly brave. I mean, the ones, like those who have helped others to escape because they figured, I lived most of my life, this person's still young, I'm going to let them live out the rest of theirs. And they helped some person out, and, the price there, the trade-off there was their life was, their life was no more. But, the idea that you can, be put in this high-stress situation, know that your imminent doom is just upon you, and react accordingly by, I'm not saying accordingly as if, there's some kind of, method to what you're supposed to do in this sort of situation, but I'm saying that it just came so natural to these people. I have a few hours, not even a few hours, a few minutes really is more accurate to live. What am I going to do with those few last minutes? I mean, everybody likes to think, what am I going to do in those last few minutes of life? And, it's always something zany or crazy when they're saying it, because they're young and they don't really fathom what the last moments of their life is going to turn out to be. Nobody really can, because we don't know what kind of situation will put us there, whether it's natural causes or, our health, or a situation such as a terrorist, threatening basically the country. We really just don't know. So, the fact that they just completely were like, I just got to find a phone and I got to tell the people I love one last time I love them. There was no, like I said, there was nothing. There was no hate, not at all, not one bit of hate. And, as Americans not in the crash, or even Americans who weren't, having anybody related to them in the crash. Like, for example, I didn't know anybody who died or was affected. I mean, yes, everybody was affected, but I mean affected medically by the crash, and it's interesting being on that perspective. because it's kind of like you're outward looking in, but not really, because everybody sort of feels the same sympathy towards one another. And you know, it's like, it's kind of okay. It's kind of good in one respect that, you know, we kind of unified as one. But it's also bad in another respect because we didn't completely unify as one. We had stronger stereotypes towards Middle Eastern people or anybody with a towel on their head. You know, it's one evil for another. I mean, it's no, why is it any better to, you know, attack some, you know, structure and compared to stereotyping? You may say, well, attacking a structure is a direct effect, and that, you know, it just kills so many, you know, just kills so many people. It kills the economy. You know, the economy did take a little dip, but that's not any of our concerns really, compared to what we have to deal with. And really, you just don't realize the effects of stereotyping, because it leads to one thing and the next. And, you know, take a lesson from these people. I mean, this is why I'm making this video. I was really moved by this piece that I read. You know, take a lesson from these people. You know, at the end of the day, at the end of your life cycle, there's only one thing you've got left to do, and that's say, I love you to everybody. I mean, I love you to the people you love, your family, your, you know, kids, of course, your family, you know, your friends, anybody you can, and let them know that you love them every day, because you don't know when that can be taken away from you. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but it's true. And you know what? Here's something a little bit unorthodox. Love your enemy too. You know, love yourself, love your lovers, and love your enemy, really. Because, you know, what are they going to fight if you're not fighting back? I mean, after a while, somebody's going to stop punching you when you're not fighting. They're just going to give up. I mean, what are they going to do? You're not fighting, you're not engaging them, you're not egging them on in any way, because you giving them a response of violence is exactly what they want. You know, so you have to actually love your enemy. And I know that sounds pretty unbelievable to say, especially in these times where you don't even know who the enemy is anymore, and you're just confused, and we're in this war and we're in that, we're in here for freedom and we're in here for oil, we're in here for religious supremacy, whatever the case may be. You know, I thought it was an interesting study of human behavior that, you know, an imaginary figure, I'm not even going to bullshit you, and this is for all gods, Christian, Catholic, Jewish, Buddhist, Muslim, Islam, it doesn't matter. They're fake. There's no scientific backing, and I'm not even going to argue the point here. I will do it in another episode. However, the fact that you can formulate in your mind that I'm doing something good, I'm going to be like some kind of martyr when I die, and I'm going to go to this place where I get 72 virgins, and whatever the case may be, I may go to heaven, or I may go to the Holy Land, or whatever it is that you go to. I don't understand how you get to that point in your mind where you say that it's okay for me to run planes into buildings and take millions of lives. I don't know if millions is the right amount, that might be a stretch, but how I can take all these lives because I believe in some imaginary person, you know? It's like, why would you give up this fantastic world? I know it's not in the best standings as of now, but if you work every day to make it better, it can be. I don't understand how you could just give that all up for an imaginary being. It boggles my mind. And that's why I say you really got to cherish the moment, really live in the now, and live in the now lovingly. You know, don't live for tomorrow hating, you know, saying that we're going to war, and, you know, war is inevitable, it's a human nature, and honestly it's not. I've been to advanced placement psychology, and it's really not. It's taught. And I mean, that would answer my question before of how people get to that point. It's brainwashing. You know, it's literally brainwashing, but I mean, how is that any different from you being, you know, raised on Christian morals or something like that? Maybe you're not that extreme, but you still have been brainwashed. You know, it's still the same process, it's just maybe not as extreme. I don't know. You know, it really depends on the person whether they decide that this is the right thing to do because of my imaginary person who instructed me, or it's not. So I just wanted to say, you know, make sure you have love in your heart all the time. Don't hold on to hate. It's not good for your health. Trust me, I know. This is actually, I'm considering this as a 2-part video because I made a song about 9/11. It's called Burning Towers. I sing on the track. I play bongos. It is a little rough, merely because I only have bongos in my vocals, so it's not any, you know, melodies besides that. I'm sorry about that. That's all I have. No string instruments, but I just want to sing it to hopefully convey the message, remind you, keep a little love in your heart. Theo Ginzy for Refined Rage. I'm out.